Hey everybody, welcome to Bestie Book Reviews. I'm here with my bestie Mandy.
And I'm here with my bestie Jessica.
So if you guys have been watching, I guess I don't know, because this is coming out on Monday, so they won't see anything before this should be your first one. So we are at Rain City Author Event in Seattle, and we're together. Whoa, what is happening out there? See the smoke?
Is that smoke or just... well, our fire department is responding now. You put your glasses on.
It's because it's so far away.
I don't know. I don't know what it is.
Or is it water?
I thought it was just water, but it's kind of weird that it's still there.
Okay. All right, guys. Well,
Okay.
So our room overlooks Puget Sound. We can see the boats coming in and out. There's a barge out there. Something's happening, and it distracted me. Anyhow.
There's also this huge building in between, so we only get like little pockets, so it's hard to tell what's happening.
The huge building in between is all glass, so we keep waiting for something to happen, but nothing has so far.
Because if you've read very many books, people who live in buildings with all glass windows do particular things there, and we thought we might be getting somewhere.
We did,
and we're not sure.
Then he got dressed again.
We might have just seen part of a Daylight episode.
You never know. Anyhow, okay, so
we digress.
We're doing our 1-minute book recs today. So this is where we go over all the books we read in the past week with 1-minute synopsises for each book. So Mandy, what do you want to tell the fine people before we get going here?
I thought you wanted to know how many books I read.
I will eventually.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, thank you guys so much for joining us. Mm-hmm. We love having you here. And if you like being here, if you could subscribe, that means a lot to us. And like our videos, that also means a lot. We really appreciate that. And comment, because we'd love to interact with you in the comments. So let us know how your reading week's going. What are you reading?
Yeah.
We love to hear that.
Okay. Wow. There's a glare.
Also,
what?
Make sure you hit that subscribe button, though, because we are giving away the coveted cover books when we get to 3K, and we're making progress on that.
We are. So we'll be there before we know it. Okay, so let's talk about our reading week. So this was a little bit of a shorter week for us because we're together this weekend, so we don't read as much when we're together. But how was your reading week?
It's me. I'm the jabberjaws.
She misses
my reading week was all over the place, and I read 7 books.
Okay, my reading week was about the same, and I read 7 books.
Sweet.
So
I'm excited to hear about it.
Oh, are you?
I am.
Okay, well, let's get started. You're gonna have to kind of keep a timer because I don't have one.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Let me go grab your phone.
So the first book I have was what we had for our buddy read with Amber and Jen. This is Beautiful Mess by A. James or Ashley James. This is about Grace and Conway. So basically, Grace, her boyfriend cheats on her. She finds him cheating on her. She has a night out. She gets drunk. She calls her boyfriend's dad to pick her up, and that is Conway. He picks her up. He takes her home. She throws herself at him, and then she is very upset about the fact that he pushes her away because, age gap, and it's his son's girlfriend, even though they've broken up at this point. And then we jump forward.
If we say broken up, like it just happened.
Like it literally happened within hours. And then we fast forward, I think it was like 14 years. So there's like a 14-year jump there.
She's now 34.
Yeah.
I'm so sorry.
It's okay. No, help away. It's all good. We jump forward until she's 34. Things are happening. They both have young kids. They end up getting put together to do a project for the PTO. So they are forced to be together. She has feelings still for him, and she's very butthurt about the fact that he rejected her. So I gave this 3.5, 4 stars. I did enjoy some of it. The time jump kind of sucked a little bit. But I still stand by the 3.5, 4 stars. I did enjoy parts of it when I was listening to it. So it was decent. That just time jump just threw me. Yeah. So what was your first book?
Okay, my first book is Smash by S.M. West, who is a new to me author, but I will definitely be reading more from her. Okay. So this is Friends to Lovers. We have Grayson. He has been in love with Daisy since he met her, basically. And when he met her, she was pregnant and basically kind of came crying to her sister's house. It kind of sounds like we don't really get that. It's just a little bit of backstory. And her son is now 2 years old. she used to be a model and now she's a photographer, and her son is like her world. She's trying to save up money to get a better house and all of that stuff. And Gray has been there for through everything, and he's just been patiently waiting for her to be ready to date again. And then he wants to like put himself in the running, but he doesn't want to push her. So they eat dinner together all the time. He watches her son for her. Like they're basically like a family unit, just without the intimacy. And then she decides to go out on a date when she gets asked, and that prompts him to like freak out that he's been stuck in the friend zone. And he decides to, shoot a shot with her. But there is somebody from her past that's going to come back and just really rock everything.
Mhm.
And I did not see that coming.
Okay.
So I really enjoyed it. I rated it 4 stars.
Okay. All right, so the next book that I read, actually listened to this one. It is Puck Around and Find Out by Sarah Blue. This is the 3rd book in her Pucked Up Omegaverse. I've enjoyed the first 2 quite a bit. This is a hockey Omegaverse. So this is about Sloane. She is the daughter to the coach for the Foxes, which is a hockey team that we've seen throughout the book. So that you could read this as a standalone, but I think you get more enjoyment reading them all 3 in order. But she is the daughter. She works for the Foxes as a PR rep, and her dad is letting her come back to work for the team this year only if she agrees to go to a matchmaker and find her pack. And he's also warned his guys, do not touch her. And she lies to him and says that yes, she's met with the matchmaker because she knows who she wants for her pack, and it is one of the guys on the hockey team. She also meets the mascot, and there's a thing that happens between her and the mascot, and I really enjoyed it. I gave it 4 stars. It wasn't overly cute Omegaverse. Like I can't stand it when it's too cutesy. This had just enough. It was just enough, and it was good. I really enjoyed it. So it was 4 stars.
Look at you.
Look at me go.
Okay. So next I read Win Some, Lose Some by Shay Savage. Her name is such a tongue twister.
It's hard, yeah.
And this has been on like literally on my physical TBR for a really long time. So this is about Matthew. Matthew has Asperger's, and in there he does mention that is no longer considered a diagnosis and that people are on the autism spectrum. But that is how he refers to himself for this. His parents have passed away, so he's basically an orphan, but he was close enough to 18 that he just gets to stay in the house and take care of himself. He has a very disabled sister that he is responsible for as well. He has an uncle, Travis, and an aunt, Bethany, who come and like help him with things and make sure everything's going okay. But he really wants to be independent. But he has some severe panic attacks if things like routines and things get messed with. Well, at school, he ends up getting partnered because he's a senior in high school trying to just make it to graduation. He gets partnered with Myra, maybe is how you say her name, Myra. And she really, like, he is described as a very good looking boy. He's very nice to everybody when he's able to talk to them. And Myra really, really likes him a lot. And she's super patient with him. Travis is a little reserved about what's going on there and worried, but it's their story. I loved it so much. And Matthew really, really likes cake. And so it's funny. His aunt will bake him cake and then make him do things out of his comfort zone to get pieces of the cake. I just love this. So this is like kind of more of a feel-good YA. But I really enjoyed it. I rated it 5 stars. She knows how to tug at your emotions. She's very good at that in her writing.
Why did you close your book? Are you done?
No.
Okay.
I closed my book.
So the next book I have is one that was on my TBR for this I've had it a couple of times on my TBR. But this is A River of Ash and Bone by Ren Cartwright. This is a why choose post-apocalyptic story. This is about River, so the apocalypse happened about 25 years ago, and she was born the year after the apocalypse, and she's been surviving with her father. Yes, it is a zombie apocalypse type situation. Well, her dad has recently passed away, and now she is out scavenging in the city looking for food and the things that she needs to survive and just making sure that she survives when she comes across a guy who is infected, and it's a fight for her life. So she ends up killing that guy. And then these 3 guys come around the corner and they're like, that was our buddy. What are you doing? Oh, let me drag you back to our compound and you're going to live with us and you're going to work with us. And it is going to be a free-for-all bang fest. Basically is what happened. So I was expecting more. I didn't. I gave it 3 stars. I think if you like reverse harem and you like that kind of thing, it just didn't work for me. This one, I don't know why. It just didn't work. It didn't give me what I was looking for because it was more about their relationship than like surviving the apocalypse kind of thing. So it was okay. I mean, there were some entertaining parts, but it was a 3.
Okay. Okay, next I have The Accidental Dating Experiment by Lauren Blakely. I think this is an Audible only situation. I could be wrong. It's narrated by Andy Art and Jacob Morgan, so you know the narration was phenomenal. So this is about Juliet and Monroe. Juliet has been struggling in her love life, and she actually works on a relationship podcast with Monroe, who I believe is like he has some sort of doctor degree, like counselor, psychologist, something. And they've been doing this podcast together. Many years ago, they had like a 1-week fling, and they both still have feelings for each other, but they both have ignored that, thinking the other one wanted to leave it in the past, basically. And they end up inheriting a house together. And it's a very eccentric house. And when they go there to visit for like the weekend together to check it out, it has bunk beds, like, but they're adult sized bunk beds with mirrors. Yeah, eccentric.
Okay.
And Monroe was married, he's divorced, and he kind of has like this negative outlook on relationships, which is interesting since they're giving people advice on how to do relationships and stuff. But it was an easy listen. It's pretty short. I rated it 4. I think Andy Art and Jacob Morgan really helped make that a solid 4 for me because I did enjoy it. If I read it, I don't know. But listening to it, I was entertained.
Okay. All right. Well, the next book I jumped into was one that has been recommended to me a few times over the last few years. And I was really looking for that post-apocalyptic feel. And I was having that was a letdown. So I picked this one up. I had originally thought this was YA. It is definitely not YA. So this is Juniper Unraveling by Carrie Lake. This starts a new series. This is a really hard one to talk about. I'm going to try my best here. So this is about Danny. This is about Danny, who's a heroine, and Ren. So there are 2 different heroines there. And then you have 6, who's our hero. So let me just start with Danny. So in this world, Danny is the 2nd generation. So she's the generation that was born after the apocalypse happened. And this is like zombie type apocalypse situation. And you live in a hive, like they call their little places, they live hives. And the not the resistance, it's a group of guys that come in and they will kill all the women. And they take only the boys. Nobody knows what happens to them. So when the book opens up, Danny's mom is shaving her head and she's reciting to herself, they only take the boys. They only take the boys. Well, they come in, they do what they do. They take her and her little brother and they get taken to this compound called Calico. And it is where they do like experiments on these boys to try to find the cure. But it's really hard. It's a really hard situation. It's really hard. Carrie even says, get through the first 50% of this book and I promise I will make it better for you. Then we also see the story of Ren. So Ren lives next to this hospital, Calico, and her dad is a doctor. And so it is a walled off city that she's living in. And one day she goes to the part of the compound where she's not supposed to go. And she sees this boy looking at her through this stone fence, this little tiny hole. And that is 6. And then I say boy, but they're old teens, like they're pushing 20 at this point. That is 6. He doesn't speak, he's mute, and he's definitely been through something. And so she befriends him through the wall. And that's all I can tell you. I'm going to tell you there is only one love story in here. It is a male-female situation, but there's a lot of twists and turns and you don't know what's happening until we get to that 50% mark. And then you go, oh, and it was just, it was 5 stars. Loved it. It'll probably be one of my top reads of the year. I just loved it so much.
Oh, wow.
I mean, it was very dark. Don't get me wrong, guys. You have to check triggers. It was very dark and very hard to get through, but it was worth it. So,
okay.
Yeah.
All right. So next I have Just One Time by Samantha Bach. This is about Abby. Abby is 40 and she really wants to have a baby and she's exploring options when she jokingly, but not really jokingly, asked Nate, who's been her best friend since childhood. So now remember they're 40. And she jokingly, but again, not jokingly, asked him to father the baby kind of like maybe the old fashioned way.
Mm-hmm.
And so he's like, okay. And they do that. And it's pretty hot and things kind of continue. But then they're not really vibing somehow. And so he starts going to work, and like it feels more like he's avoiding her than just being gone for work big chunks of the time. She decides to start dating this guy, Vince, that her mom set her up with. And then he comes back and she's pregnant, and she tells him that she's pregnant. And he says, well, who's the father? Okay.
Oh.
Well, she's been dating someone else and has kind of shut him out, and she slaps him for asking her that. And it just really kind of turned me off from the rest of the book when that happened, because I just wasn't feeling the heat of the moment slap across the face for that question, because she's been out with this other guy. Like, that's a legitimate question. And maybe you said it being a douche or whatever you want to think about it, but it really bothered me when she slapped him. And I just then really couldn't like her again. She does apologize. They work through it, but I couldn't get over it.
Yeah.
So I ended up feeling like it was a 3-star week.
Oh.
I know.
Yeah.
I was harsh on it. It just, I couldn't.
There's times when those things happen, and
you
just takes you out of the book. Kick it.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
I'm sorry.
All right. Well, the next book I have is the arc that I had for this week. This book actually just came out, so it is out on audio. It had the same day release audio. This is Brutal Collateral by Deborah Garland. So this is the newest book in her what are they calling it? Quinlan Empire. You need to hit this timer. Quinlan Empire. This, I really liked this a lot. Deborah actually sent me the book as well. So this is about Ava and Griffin. So
book that you're holding?
Yeah, she sent me the book.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You're like, she also sent me the book as well. Like,
so she sent me the book, and yeah, I got a PR box of the book. Anyhow, this is about Ava. So at the beginning of the book is the day after her 18th birthday, and her brother, so she's a part of the Greek mafia. Her brother tells her, like, pulls up outside of the Navy recruitment office and is like, you're going into the U.S. Navy. This is the only way I can save you and keep you safe from our other brother, because there's like all of this, they're fighting over who's going to be in charge of the Greek mafia. There's something happened with their dad, and they're fighting, and so he wants to keep her safe. So she goes into the Navy. She actually becomes a part of an elite fighting force. She's been in the Navy for 7 years when the brother that she was trying to hide from shows up and cancels her contract with the U.S. government and brings her home to marry someone that he wants her to marry. Well, she ends up getting kidnapped, and she's being held. And then that is when Ava's brother goes to Griffin, who is our Irish mafia badass here, and says, if you can rescue my sister, you can have her. Well, little does he know that when Ava was in SEALs training, 6 years ago or whatever it was, a few years back, they actually met each other because she was going by a different name, and they had like the best night of their life, and it was like a whole thing, and he doesn't even realize that this is the same girl until he sees her. Like, hair's different and everything. Great. I gave it 4.5 stars. I really loved it. And Joe Arden does the audio with an Irish accent, and it was freaking hot. It was awesome. So audio did come out on the same day as the book, so I did listen to part of the audio as well.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Next, I have The Proposal Play by Lauren Blakely. This is Maeve and Asher. They've been best friends like for a really long time. And Asher is getting auctioned. He's a hockey player. He's getting auctioned off, and she overhears some snobby woman. And her brother has told her that she can use some of his money to do some bidding, like for charity work here. And much to everyone, including her brother's amazement, she bids pretty high to keep Asher from going out on this date with this other lady. And so they end up going out on the date, which is like in Vegas for a weekend or something like that. And they decide to get married, kind of as a joke. But what ends up happening is their pictures end up going viral because he's an extremely famous hockey player, right? Well, she just gets a big art commission, and he is trying to get a sports charity going. And so both of them, they're good friends. So they are like, we can't divorce right now and annul this because that's gonna, hurt us in the long run. So we'll just stay married. And you know how that's gonna work out.
Oh, yeah.
I rated it like a 3.5, rounded up to a 4. It's a big book, and there were a few times where when like the spicier scenes would happen, I was kind of like, again? Which I just felt, I enjoyed it, but I felt it could have been trimmed down a bit. And that could have just simply been my mood But
Yeah.
it's the longer book, and I don't like when the spicy scenes are driving us forward. I don't mind, but this one for me, it just felt like a little bit like we could have trimmed it down a bit.
Yeah.
I still enjoyed it.
Okay.
Okay.
All right.
Next.
The next book I read is the one that we had for book club this month, and that was Carnage Island by Lexi C. Foss. So you guys can go back and watch the video of our live book show. We didn't talk much about the book though. So, but this is a Why Choose Omegaverse shifter book. There's a lot in this one.
Shocker.
Shocking. So this is about Clove at the beginning. She is at the like a binding a binding ritual between her clan, her pack, and another one that her dad has orchestrated. She's going to get married to this guy or be bound to him. And when she shifts into her wolf, they discover that she is not who they thought they were because they can tell by the color of her wolf's fur. And her mate is supposed to tell her how to shift back. He doesn't do that because he gets mad. He basically, she ends up getting thrown off into Carnage Island at this point. Like they take her to Carnage Island, which is like where all the bad guys go, or where all the not good shifters go. And she gets tossed off the boat. Nobody wants her. She's being blamed for the murder of her mother when she didn't do it. And that is where she meets our three heroes who are on Carnage Island. They rescue her. It's a whole thing. This was a second read for me. It was a reread. And I enjoyed it. I just didn't enjoy it. I really, really, really enjoyed it the first time. I gave it 5 stars the first time around. This time I was like, I gotta reread that book. Like it was just kind of, I was really into the Juniper unraveling. Let's just be honest, guys. That's what I want to do. I want to read that book and not this one. So I did enjoy it. Again, it just wasn't as enjoyable because I wanted to read the other one.
Cool. Yeah. All right. Well, next I have Somewhere You Belong by Harlow James. This is part of her Carrington Cove series. It is the first book. I've talked about a couple of the other books on here. And so this is Willow and Dallas. Willow's parents were killed when she was 2, and they were journalists overseas. And the Marine that was with them, we fast forward to Willow's now all grown up. She's running an extremely lucrative marketing business. She's like CEO, works herself to death, basically trying to fill some voids in her life. And she gets a letter and that tells her she has inherited this home in Carrington Cove. So she goes to find out what's going on. Well, it's the guy who was with her parents has left her this house. And she gets to town and she meets Dallas right away. Dallas and her do not hit it off well. They don't get along at all. Mm-hmm. And then Dallas finds out that she's the new owner of this house. And he has wanted this house since he was like a teenager. And he's never been able to figure out who owned it. And so he now is trying to get a little bit friendlier with her because he really wants this house badly. And she's not really having that. So we kind of have a enemies to lovers situation happening. I really, really enjoyed this. I rated it 4 stars. It was really good.
Okay. All right. Well, my last book for the week is Calico Descending by Carrie Lake. So this is the second book in the Juniper Unraveling series. So this one is about Talitha. She is actually taken into this facility when she is 14. And she is tested on. We find out very early on that because everybody who's in this facility has been tested on. And she is being marked for the Alpha program. So they have 3 guys who have been altered, who are down in the basements. And these guys, their job basically is to do whatever the Legion tells them to do, which is the name of the people that run this place. They are basically they're gladiators. And one thing they want them to do is to go down into the basement that has been sealed off with all of these experiments that are routed, and like these zombies are down in the basement. They're all sealed off, but that they believe that the cure is down there, and by a different doctor has left it down there. And they think that if they can get her Khalitha to bond with one of these alphas, that they can use her as the whipping girl. Like if the alpha doesn't do what they want him to do, they will beat her or they will hurt her to make him go do that. And so, or to keep her from being hurt. And so this is her story. Wow. Again, very dark. Loved it. 5 stars. I can't wait to go continue on. So very dark.
You're done?
I am done.
Okay, well, this is my last one.
Okay.
Are you gonna run this way?
Sure.
Okay, so I have Hugo by Jennifer Milliken. And this is book number 2 in the Olive Township. So we have Mallory. Mallory is a true crime podcaster, and she's very interested in what happened to Hugo's dad, but that was like almost 20 years ago. And Hugo's family has just really refused to talk to anybody about it. And she has tried really hard to get in touch with Hugo. He is ignoring all of her emails. So she decides to go to Olive Township, go to the spa, and see what she might be able to find out. So she goes there. She ends up running into Hugo right away. And Hugo is not too happy about her being there. But his mom kind of convinces him that maybe her approach of like, we're not going to talk about this, like has prevented them all from healing and moving on. So she encourages him and says, I want to talk to her. So he then gets in touch with her to talk to her about it. This is romantic suspense because there's somebody who is not happy that she is in town asking questions at all. And she's also pregnant, and her baby's daddy has signed over parental rights before the baby's even born, wants nothing to do with them. And Hugo is gonna kind of step in a little bit. I really enjoyed this one. So I did get the audiobook ALC for this one. It comes out May 29th, the book as well. And this is narrated by Marissa Clay, Erin Donahue, and Hannah Chiclana. I loved the audio. It was great. And I've loved this book. I loved both of them in the series. And I rated Hugo 5 stars. Really, really enjoyed it a lot.
Awesome. Okay, guys. Well, there you have it.
Oh, I forgot.
Oh my gosh. What?
Something I wanted to say about this book.
Holy cow. Okay.
I forgot. I wrote a note and everything.
Well, it's a
Okay.
good thing you closed it. Okay.
Okay. So I wanted to say that in this, there's a new kink that is unlocked.
Uh-huh.
Manners.
What?
Please. He really likes it when she uses her manners.
Good. I
I loved it.
Got it. All right.
Sorry. I forgot to bring that up.
Okay.
My bad.
Okay. Now that's all our books for the week.
We can be done.
Yeah, we can be done.
Yes.
Yeah, we're losing the light fast, guys.
Yes.
All right. So, yeah, do your thing.
All right. Well, make sure you check back on Mondays, Thursdays, and Saturdays for new videos from us. And I've probably never once looked at the camera because it's on the wrong side this whole time. So my apologies to that. And like I already asked you, comment below how your reading week was. And we'd love it if you're not a subscriber, if you hit that subscribe button and like, and again, comment.
Yeah. Yeah. All right, guys. Thanks for watching. We'll see you in the next video.